Malakai Black and Miro are expected to join WWE very soon. A former women's champion has been added to the 2025 Hall of Fame, and a WrestleMania 41 match has been confirmed on SmackDown. Stay tuned for all the wrestling news. This week we have seen multiple people leaving AEW, namely Malakai Black, Miro, and Ricky Starks. Now, of course, Ricky Starks turned up on NXT literally just the night after his release from AEW, but it looks like exactly, he's the man with no name. We don't know who it was actually that turned up on NXT, but it looks like Malakai Black and Miro won't be far behind him, as both are expected to join WWE very soon, as per the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which states that WWE Creative has been discussing both names with the belief and the feeling that they will be in the company. It's no surprise.
Look, I think that this has been sort of speculated for a long time already. It's not really come as a surprise to many people that this is on the table potentially, and I see both of them just seamlessly slotting back into the company. Aleister Black returning would be an interesting prospect under like main roster Triple H. 100%. I feel presentationally, obviously he nails it everywhere he goes, so it's just a case of finding the right storyline to inject him into. In terms of a returning Rusev, yeah, why not?
Hey, every day is Rusev Day.
Exactly.
As much as I would love to see Rusev back in WWE, I really hope that they allow him to continue with this God's champion, the Redeemer that he had in AEW, and mix it with the Rusev Day character, because I feel like they were onto something in AEW with that character, but it was just never agreed on how it was presented, and there was so much you could have done with that, and I'd like to see that back in WWE. On the Aleister Black front, though, as you said, under Triple H, that feels like he immediately becomes upper mid-card, top-level guy.
Look, he's spooky, but in the right way, in terms of, like, it's not overly cartoony spooky. I think if you were to take something like The Fiend, which obviously was amazing, but for different reasons. I think he's the other side of the kind of dark and scary coin.
It's more cult-like, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was kind of what we were seeing before he initially left the company, was he was starting to kind of... It's a very cult leader type thing that was going on. The big glasses, everything.
The long robe, this sort of thing. Yeah.
So I'm kind of interested to see if we're going to have a resumption in that, or if we're going to go straight back through into, the Aleister Black,
the Aleister Black stuff,
Malakai Black we've currently got.
I feel surely it's going to be a blend. Obviously, time has passed, and WWE is better now at sort of referencing things outside of the company and how characters have grown. Perhaps we'll see him basically just be taken from AEW and put slap bang in the middle of WWE as Malakai. We don't know at this point. I'd imagine they'd want Aleister.
I reckon it would be Aleister, because they probably still own the rights to it.
They probably do, and similar with Rusev. But talking about Rusev / Miro just now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter has given some insight into the last few months prior to his release from AEW, saying that both he and CJ Perry, his wife at the time, were under the impression that they would be put together on screen following AEW World's End 2023. That was, coincidentally, his last match and last appearance.
Yeah, so they believed that the plan from there was for them to be paired up and pushed as a top act together within the company. But since then, following CJ Perry's release from the company last April, Miro has reportedly just asked for his release over and over and over again. Until finally he got it.
Finally, it was granted. So it seems like they were under the impression that as a pair, they were going to be pushed as a top act in AEW.
Yeah.
Clearly, that is not how things played out. It looks like there was a lot of miscommunication. They were under the belief of one thing, whereas creative obviously went in a different route. It is a shame. As I said, I like the character, the Redeemer, God's champion. I had a lot of legs to it. It just never seemed to click, him and CJ Perry in AEW, even though they weren't together on screen. As a pair, it just never clicked.
I always felt like we saw quite a lot of Miro, but it still felt like he was a casualty of the roster just being so deep on that side.
Good.
Like it's just there are so many people that it kind of fizzled out for a lot of people, because it was like, oh, we've got to focus on this now, and it's just sort of maybe pushed to the sidelines a little bit. And again, like coming in, when we had CJ Perry arrive, I remember it was like a big moment. It was like a big deal. And from there, we were just assuming that was going to be the route that would be taken. So it's kind of...
Clearly they were expecting that as well.
Do we see Lana return with him WWE does return?
I would feel less likely now that they're not a real life couple.
Yeah.
I feel like that would maybe a bit awkward for them if they wanted that, but we will see. It looks like at least Miro and Malakai Black back in WWE very, very soon. We do have an update on the WWE Hall of Fame for this year, though. WWE and ESPN have announced that former Women's and Divas champion Michelle McCool will be inducted into the 2025 Hall of Fame. Very well deserved, to be honest.
Yeah.
She is a legend of the women's division. When you think the Divas era, she was always at the forefront alongside the likes of Nikki Bella, Kelly, Brie Bella, Eve Torres. Michelle McCool is one of the names that is right up there. Will The Undertaker induct her, or will it be Layla?
I think maybe Layla.
I'm hoping it's Layla.
Because it'd be too obvious in a weird way.
Yeah.
Even for pro wrestling for Undertaker to do. But then again, if Undertaker does induct her, being inducted by, even if you take the fact that they are married together, have family, out of the equation, being inducted by a legend of that caliber obviously would be an honor for most people. So I think it could go one or two ways, but I kind of want
I'd like to see it be Layla, and I hope they have the Divas Championship that's split in the middle, so that they have to do.
We see a lot of callbacks.
Do the little bit and put it together in the induction.
We see a lot of callbacks every time we get the Hall of Fame, so I'm assuming we're going to see that title again.
Well, before the Hall of Fame, we do have WWE coming over to Europe for a prolonged tour of Europe on the road to WrestleMania. It is mad how many dates they're doing over here for both Raw, SmackDown, and house shows. But a huge match has been announced for one of the house shows.
Yeah, so WWE have announced that Gunther is set to defend his World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk in a steel cage during WWE's tour of Europe. He's also going to defend the title against Seth Rollins in a steel cage at a separate date. I believe wrestling him in a steel cage in Germany, right?
Yes, it's in Germany. Yeah. I think it's a couple dates they're doing the CM Punk match in Germany, and a couple dates they're doing the Seth Rollins match.
Yeah.
That is a huge match to get on a live event.
Well, I mean, look, we're getting less and less live events, so if it feels like every live event can have that kind of big feel, then I think you're going to draw a lot more people, and maybe you can do it in bigger and bigger spaces.
I kind of hope this is a tease, a little indication that this is one of the main matches we're getting post WrestleMania, because Gunther, CM Punk feels like a match we need to see.
They've done this before, haven't they? In the cage, I believe prior
to Christmas or something. There was like a
house show circuit, but I'm sure Gunther won by escape in the cage, which is the best way to win a cage match. What's the point of pinning somebody?
Oh, is that
climbing over the cage takes like 30 seconds, right? So you have to dominate your opponent to be able to climb over the cage.
I quite like the you're trapped. You're stuck in there.
Force them to climb in.
Yeah, give us a reverse steel cage. That is classic.
You
TNA.
can just walk up to the door and go, let me out, and they go, oh yeah, sorry, hold on. Ooh. That's not winning a match.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you've got to climb over. It's a hard effort. You've got to escape from the prison that is the steel cage. Going to SmackDown last night, we do have an update on the Jade Cargill injury storyline, Nick Aldis showing Bianca Belair and Naomi. Some newly discovered footage that came via an anonymous tip that sort of implicates Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez as the people who attacked Jade Cargill. Naomi was a bit buzzing. She was like, I told you it wasn't me. Everyone thinks it's me. And it's like, you know what we're thinking, WWE.
I'm not buying it.
I'm not
buying it.
I'm smelling bull. Yeah. You know, I feel like there's still something there. I don't think it's going to be as obvious as Liv Morgan and Raquel.
Aldis, you have been fooled.
you idiot, Aldis. But the footage was, they were walking into the arena at the time that Jade was found. So they're going, hey, that's the link.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. Also, SmackDown last night, though, we do have a new name confirmed for Elimination Chamber. Damian Priest has been added to the match itself after he defeated Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman. The match was pretty good, a triple threat match we saw, but I feel like the talking point was one moment. So we had Cody come down. Solo was there as well. And we had Solo going to spike Cody with Tama Tonga holding him. But he spikes Tama instead. And Jacob Fatu, the speed that man got up to defend Tama and square up to Solo.
Yeah.
I don't think he loves him anymore.
No, I think he kind of maybe wants to rip his head off a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
The little tiniest little amount. Of course, we didn't actually get to see them go to blows, though, because Damian Priest and Cody sort of started attacking Jacob and Solo. This allowed Priest to get back in the ring and hit a South of Heaven on Braun Strowman, which I was surprised he managed to do.
Yeah, I mean, the fair play. Strowman is hardly
He's a big boy,
a little guy. So I mean, it's just a testament to Priest. He seems to just be coming on leaps and bounds. Like he's just strength to strength to strength. So I'm excited to see him in the chamber. I think that you can always do with having some really big bodies in something like the chamber. So
for sure,
I think he's definitely going to have a few standout moments as well.
Just a little bit gutted we're not going to get Jacob Fatu doing a moonsault from the top of the pods. But I know that's it's not smart
officially.
It's not
but
smart.
if he just hides under the ring, he can do it anyway.
He could do it anyway. Going forward though to WrestleMania 41, we do have a match confirmed. This, of course, being Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany was defending her belt last night against Nia. It ended in a DQ. Charlotte was at ringside. She stands over the prone. Tiffy sits down on a steel chair and goes, "Tiffy, the Queen chooses you." We've got the match at WrestleMania.
Give me back my belt. And then it's got my name engraved on the back of it.
She's actually, it's like on a school jumper in Lost and Found.
My Apple tag
She's like,
going mental.
Still smells of me. That's mine. That's my one. I'm looking forward to this match, but I really want Tiffany to win.
Yeah, me too. But I think it's the fear. Hopefully, they're just playing off this fear that Charlotte's just going to come in and take the title, and we're going to have to kind of go through that to get back to potentially Tiffy. But I just want Tiffy to retain.
I just established Tiffany at WrestleMania. Let us know in the comments below if you want to see Tiffany Stratton win. You probably do. Let us know if you want Charlotte to win. You probably don't at this point. But anyway, we'll be back later on today with more wrestling news. So we will see you later on.